Alright, so what's happening, guys? We're about to check out Batman v Superman. Costume designer reveals hidden details. So if you guys got about 8 minutes to spare, please, let's check out this video. Here's my reaction.
The costumes from Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice are on display in the DC booth at New York Comic-Con. And we got a chance to chat with costume designer Michael Wilkinson about all the cool secrets of his designs. So tell me a little bit about how you came up with the new costumes for Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
Well, it was definitely a labor of love. We all feel so passionately about all of these characters. You know, they've been around for such a long time. They mean so much to so many people. So we made sure we did our homework and we really looked into the histories of all of these characters. And I got busy drawing, working with an amazing team of illustrators. It was about a year from the time that I started the job until we actually started filming.
Just to look at Batman.
The costumes, so we really had the time to obsess about every square inch of them. You know, Zack Synder gave us such a clear direction about where he wanted to go with these costumes. When we were designing the Superman costume, what Zack and I really wanted to bring across was textures that weren't necessarily from our known world. This costume was created on another planet with alien technology. There's also some subtle differences in the belt, the buckle, the glyph itself. Zack loved the idea that there was actually some Kryptonian script embedded in the suit, but he gave me this fantastic quote that he wanted us to translate into Kryptonian and incorporate into the script. It sort of deals with the nature of power and the responsibility that comes with power. For Batman, it was really important for Zack that we created a whole new Batman. He said the most important thing for our Batman is that he comes across as a really hulking, big guy. He's super pumped up. He's going to be even bigger than Superman in silhouette. And so his strength is not through armor and like gadgets and things, but it's just he's like a tower of muscle. Zack Snyder's a real fan of Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. And we looked a lot at that silhouette when we were creating our silhouette. But the cowl I'm super proud of. That was an amazing sort of feat of engineering. It's always been a big thing of like the whole...
Can he actually turn his head?
But it does allow full range of movement. He can do all of his stuff.
We finally got the photo!
So with Wonder Woman,
we finally got the photo when it was so blurry. When they did the Comic-Con, we finally got it.
Who has
man!
Power and strength. Her presence as a warrior is completely legitimate and unquestionable, but at the same time has kind of a grace and elegance of the Amazonian culture. You know, it's quite a formal culture. Their way of fighting is very, very disciplined. And so we wanted to sense that majesty with her look.
And I think when you talk about Wonder Woman, you can't not ask about the lasso and the bracers.
So true. That we worked really closely with the props department to work on sort of crossover with the shield, the lasso, the sword.
Can the bracers deflect bullets along with heat vision, and are they supernatural?
Well, you know, Diana is immortal, so she's been around for a long time. She does have powers that are beyond human. So when we were creating our textures, we were referring to different metals that exist, but also creating new finishes of metals that might have this kind of supernatural kind of power to them. So hopefully we created something that's kind of original and eye-catching.
Nice.
Our excitement for Batman v Superman is matched only by our enthusiasm for Dark Knight 3: The Master Race. And Frank Miller is back at DC to finish off his epic adventure. All right, Dan, how did Dark Knight 3 come about? Did Frank Miller just call you up on the phone and say, I want to do this book?
You know, it came about a couple of ways. You know, Jim and I were both very excited about trying to work with Frank again, you know. We had come out of, before Watchmen, we had started the Sandman project, and we were trying to look at all those great things that, you know, really are identified with DC Comics. And Frank's work on Dark Knight is one of those things that just is just a seminal body of work. So we reached out to Frank, and we had some conversation going with Frank about some of the characters, and, you know, we were actually asking, honestly, what we were doing was we were asking him about whether or not we wanted to put Carrie Kelly in the main DC. And we started to do that, and we were getting down that road, and Frank basically said, rather than do Carrie Kelly in there, why don't we do another story with Carrie Kelly? And that sounded like another Dark Knight book, and I was always interested in doing something with the Dark Knight universe, you know, taking those characters and those interpretations and expanding on them. And it originally started out something as Dark Knight universe, but ultimately morphed into something that became basically the third part of the trilogy. So this is something Jim and I met with Frank on over a 2-year 2-year period of time, and then everything just came together, and Brian Azzarello, so integral to the entire project. He really worked with Frank every step of the way, and the collaboration between Brian and Frank is really what's brought this book to life. And then on top of that, just the icing on the cake was bringing Andy Kubert on the art, and then the pièce de résistance is Klaus Jansson's Ace,
of course,
which just pulls to be spectacular.
Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like reading that first script for Dark Knight 3?
I can, you know what? It's funny. We could talk about reading the first script. The best one was when we first sat in the meeting. We're sitting there having a conversation. He's pitching the story, and for Frank, and you see the passion,
his passion for Batman.
Oh yeah, everything. His passion for Batman, and he has scenes in here that really elevate. Everybody's always worried that in Frank's material that Superman gets punked a little, you know. So, but
Batman beats up Superman.
Exactly right. I'm telling you right now, in this case, the elevation of Superman as a character is really something to see, something to behold. Batman's character is as strong as always, but it's really this intense world that he's created, and honestly, that's the reason why we did the mini comic. There's a really clear story that deals with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Very clear story, the main story, but there's so many other characters that enrich it that what we wind up doing is that there's always a tangential aspect of what we do. Like the Atom is integral to the overall story, but didn't need to be in the main story in order to play his role. So what we've done is we've done the mini comics to really expand on their moments, their beats, and in a weird way, I got my little Dark Knight Universe book.
Oh, yeah.
I did the mini comics of the Dark Knight Universe books that I was looking for. So it's kind of fun when you see it all come together in this fashion.
Now, Dan, specifically, what has it been like for you working with Frank Miller?
You know, it's great to work on this project, but I'm actually going to roll it back to when I first started at DC.
Oh, okay.
Okay, when I first started at DC Comics, my first fanboy moment as an employee was meeting Frank Miller. And he was in Bob Schreck's office, and he works on these giant oversized pages, and he's there, and he's arguing and screaming about everything, and talking about how he says, you don't understand the rawness of the story. I'm scraping the pages with pen and nails to get the ink feeling across the lines. And I'm like, what the hell did I just walk into? And then he was doing that description, and then he pulls this page out, and this giant oversized page of Frank Miller comes out, and it just froze me. It just froze me. And from that moment, you know, and that project had started by the time I got here, so I got a chance to see its evolution and its completion, but not the start of it. And to be involved in the Frank Miller project at the start is kind of exciting. We did it a little bit with the All-Star Batman and Robin, but this one's got all his heart and soul on every single page.
DC just unveiled a brand new Wonder Woman statue from DC Collectibles based off the costume design from Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
It hits stores in March 2016, so don't forget to start stashing those pennies in your piggy bank so you can pick her up. And also, don't forget to click subscribe to DC All Access. We're just as wonderful.
Well, first and foremost, good job with the interview, DC Entertainment. That's awesome. You know, spectacular work. I loved how he started talking about his relationship in regards to working with Frank Miller and how passionate Frank Miller is. Now, we finally got that photo of when they were at the Comic-Con event, and we got to see Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, but it was like kind of blurry, but now we got that crystal clear. I'm super excited for Batman v Superman. I cannot wait, Dogmatics. I know you guys are excited. Post your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think, and if you're new here, join me on my journey to reach 1,000 subscribers. You guys have a good day. Be blessed. Peace.